Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. I hope you're all doing very, very well. I don't know why I'm confused as to what has just happened there. But hello and welcome to the United Stand. And it's big news. It's big news about Sancho, Grealish and of course Jude Bellingham. And look, they're incoming. They're incoming. Manchester United have the intention, no matter what happens in this global crisis, to go and do the business that they were planning to do. This is a big story, an exclusive story in the Manchester Evening News. It came out around lunchtime today. And look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Manchester Evening News have got good connects with Manchester United. And when they're coming out with exclusive news about Manchester United's intention to go and get these signings done, no matter what happens in this financial crisis in the summer, then that is a massively encouraging thing. And look, it might not be coming from your tier one Fabrizio Romano or your Duncan Castles or whoever you attach real credibility to. But I'm telling you what, don't ignore this story, because again, it repeats the same themes. That United were looking to get a deal done with Grealish in February. That we know Jude Bellingham has been to Carrington and had a look around Carrington. And that we know that Manchester United are desperate to bring Jadon Sancho in, as we know from other credible people such as Fabrizio Romano. But what we don't know and what we're concerned about is, does this global situation, does this potential of the Premier League not coming back, does the potential of the Premier League coming back and millions of pounds being lost by people, does that put barriers up that will be unsurmountable for Manchester United in relation to these players? And it appears that will not be the case. It appears that won't be the case. And that to me is big positives, because I go back to an interview with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer right at the start of the lockdown, about 2 weeks in, and he said words to the effect that we've got our targets before the lockdown and we'll have our targets during the lockdown. And that to me, Manchester United coming into the lockdown knew what they needed to do. If they don't do it, they're not doing it for financial reasons, but they knew what they needed to get done this summer in the transfer market. And it sounds like they're going to get it done, as long as, you know, they're going to fight to get it done unless it becomes impossible. And I think that's a good thing to do, because there will be clubs out there who had their plans and they've gone, we can't do that now. But Manchester United seem to be looking at it in a different way. This is real positive. And for me, look, you know, Dane Summer, I don't know who Kerry is. And hi, Mark, don't you think that Rabiot would add quality to our squad, as it was only the start of the league? We were all concerned about a lack of depth. I don't want Rabiot. I've spoken about Rabiot before, Ollie. Rabiot, I don't want at Manchester United. I don't think he befits what we're talking about as a club. I don't think he's a player that, you know, I know he's a little bit younger than Di Maria, but PSG leaves in a bad way. Juventus hardly been there, going to leave in a bad way. I don't want that. You know, I want a player that comes to Manchester United and is in love with that step, who's hungry for that step. He's in PSG, Juventus, Man United. He's been at 3 big clubs and he's not succeeded. Well, he would be at 3 clubs if he came to United. I want a Jack Grealish. I want a Jude Bellingham. I want a Bruno Fernandes. I want a player that has shown consistent potential and ability, and then comes to Manchester United to continue that and step up. That's United's transfer model now, and that's what we should be looking at. And the one that excites me, and all 3 of them excite me, but if I had to say 2 of those, you know, if I said to you, who Sancho, Grealish, Bellingham, one of them's got to go and 2 of them will come in. For me, it's Sancho and Bellingham. Sancho's going to be everybody's number 1 because we need a right winger and he's the best talent. But Jude Bellingham, also to me, is just exactly what United should be looking at. I get tired of myself of saying that he's around 6 foot. He's only 16. He's not 17 till the summer, and he's played over 30 games in the Championship. This is a star in the making, and I want him to come to Manchester United. How we manage him when we get him, I don't know. But he's a star in the making. He's a Mason Greenwood in midfield. He is a star in the making, and I would absolutely love Manchester United to get him. And if his family or him are watching, come to Manchester United, because we absolutely want you. You know, we have got a depth in our fan base that we will look at a 16-year-old who's been playing at Birmingham and we will say, you know, you are going to be a future star at this club. Come here and we will love you. So I want Bellingham to come to Manchester United. I want Sancho to come. Grealish, look, if Grealish comes. I personally think Grealish only comes if Pogba goes, but Bellingham and Sancho I think could happen if Pogba comes. And look, Pogba today, there's been a bit of uproar, I think. I don't really feel it's uproar with certain players training together. I think Wan-Bissaka and somebody else was training together. Pogba was training in the park with Martial and a couple of others. I think Pereira was there. I think at the end of the day, so what? So what? They're going to be, you know, I said this last night on Twitter, and No, Dane Summer, no, never. And never in a million years. And I think with when in Germany, and Germany have had far less infections and deaths than we've had in the UK. But I don't look at that when I say this. The infection rate is the key to every country in the world when it comes to this coronavirus. You've got to get the infection rate below 1. They call it the R rate, below 1, because basically 1 means that for every person who's got it, they'll infect 1 person. If it goes up to like 2, then you're going to infect 2 people, then they'll infect 2 people. So you're trying to get it down below 1. The lockdown in Germany, their infection rate was above 1. And that means that if you're out and about, you can spread it. But footballers were still going to Dortmund, to Bayern Munich, and they were social distance training. And they were doing that all through lockdown. In this country, we haven't done that. We know we're coming out of lockdown, and footballers training with each other now. I don't have a massive problem about it, because I think they're going to be back training anyway next week. So I just think people get into a bit of a hissy fit. We are, the infection rate's coming down at the moment. The death rate is coming down in the UK, and we're looking to get back to some sense of normality. So I don't mind Pogba having a run around in the park. It's not a problem for me. And I think that, as part of what we're trying to achieve, is part of what we're trying to achieve. I respect people who have a problem with that, but personally, I don't. I really don't. But welcome to John Buckingham, the latest member of the United States Members Club. Can I just say as well, the reason I'm doing a 7:30 show today is because I'm doing a Paddy Power poker tournament at 8 o'clock, and so I can't do an 8 o'clock show. If you're interested in getting involved in that, tonight's one is free. You've got to be over 18. Tonight's one is free. You've got 15 minutes to enter it. Just go to my Twitter feed. You'll find all the details, and there's a price on my head if you knock me out of the tournament. So, you can win something on a free tournament, but make sure if you do ever do any gambling on the Paddy Power or anything, that you gamble responsibly. You've got to be over 18. But yeah, that's what I'm doing at 8 o'clock. So if you want to enter that, just check out my Twitter feed. It's got all the details for that. If you've seen the Flex and Rant show today, what was your reaction to Rant saying go get Declan Rice, says Johnny Bam? Look, I respect people's opinions, but I don't rate Declan Rice. I'm not going to change it because I like rants. I don't rate Declan Rice. I think he's bang average, massively overrated, massively overpriced, and because he's British. But he's just a young British player. I think that I think we need to move past that. I think 5-6 years ago, a young British player was like, oh, they're going to be the best player that we've got because we were shit. We didn't produce many. I look around at the amount of young British players we've got coming through now. We don't need to get I nearly said stiffy. We don't need to get excited about young English talent now unless it's genuine talent, like it's a Sancho or it's a Gilmour at Chelsea. He looks good. I don't think Declan Rice at West Ham is a young player I think there used to be this thing attached to these players that, oh, West Ham have got a midfielder who's English and he's 20. Oh, he's amazing. Smack £80 million price tag on his head and put him in the England team. He's going to be the best thing ever. We've got more. We've got depth now. We've got a depth of talent coming through. And Declan Rice, to me, he might prove me wrong in a couple of years. Look, I was wrong about McTominay. I can be wrong about Declan Rice, but if you're telling me we're going to go and spend £60 million on Declan Rice this summer, I'm like, forget about it. I haven't seen it, And look, if you don't want to listen to me, listen to Roy Keane. I just haven't seen enough of him. I have seen enough of him. I haven't seen enough from him to make me go, yeah, go and drop him in Manchester United. We're building something. I don't think sticking him in helps us. He's not ready. He needs to be playing superbly week in, week out to get a move from West Ham to a top 6 club. And he ain't doing that at the moment. He had to displace Motta, Verratti and Pastore at PSG and Bentancur, Pjanic, Ramsey, Cadera at Juventus. He's got so much to prove. I think he would fit, says Ollie Chadwick. There's no doubting that Rabiot's a good player, Ollie. It's more about what's his mentality, and Manchester United don't need those sort of players. I agree what Danny Rose said today. Why should footballers have to go back and risky their health, be away from their family for country morale, says Sean Turner. Yeah, and on the other hand, you've got a Wolves midfielder going to a lockdown party. I respect what Danny Rose said, but there's a lot of footballers who don't give a shit. So, you're going to get... There's hundreds of footballers. Some are going to have different extreme opinions, aren't they? Mark, there's a few things we haven't realised about money. If the season is cancelled, the eagerness to get football on may result in inflated TV revenue as there may be more games aired. Thoughts, says Wazim Ashraf. Look, I think the issue about money is very interesting. Of course it is. I've got nothing to dispute about that. But what encourages me at the moment is we are living in a world of total and utter what's the word? Total and utter uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen, and we have to look at it from that sense and say that we don't know what's going to happen. But I think if you're an Arsenal and you're reducing your players' wages, you are looking very seriously at losing your transfers this summer. How can you? Look, let me relate it to United, because people see Arsenal and they just start laughing and then you don't take in what I'm going to say. Imagine Manchester United have reduced their player wage bill because they're in money problems. They can see problems ahead. And some Premier League clubs have done this. So Manchester United reduced their playing staff wages by 15%. So Harry Maguire, Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, they're getting 15% less a week for the next 3 months. And some clubs have done this, and I believe Arsenal have done it. And then when we start playing football in June or July, and hypothetical, let's not get into that argument again. Hypothetically, it comes back, and then you finish the season at the end of August, right? And then at the end of August, you go and spend money. Doesn't have to be Sancho, but you go and buy Jude Bellingham for 30 million, right? Harry Maguire knocks on the door as team captain and says, "Hold on a minute. You have taken 15% of that team's wages for the last 3 months, and now you've gone and bought Jude Bellingham. What the bloody hell do you think you're doing to morale? But also, you're taking the piss. You're taking the piss. You're taking our peas and you're taking the piss. You can't take 15% of our wages for the last 3 months because we're in a global crisis and then go and spend 30 million on Jude Bellingham. You see what I mean? You can't do that. There are clubs in the Premier League who have taken their wages off players. They've taken reductions. How are those clubs then going to go and spend money? It can't happen. So Manchester United always, to me, and to you, has been quite encouraging in that level, because they've never, ever, ever took a pay cut. We've not put any staff on furlough either. Not even the hot dog staff or anything like that. So Manchester United look in a position where they could save so much money as well. They can save money. Birmingham City need money. We want Jude Bellingham. Get a deal done. Dortmund might need money. Lyon might need money. Get Moussa Dembele. So United can be brave in this market and come out of it very, very well. And I think, you know what? We might not think that the Glazers and Woodward would do it, but it makes business sense as well. This market is going to be less competitive and prices are going to be cheaper because there's not going to be as many people. There's not going to be as many buyers, and there's not going to be as many sellers. Some clubs need to sell, and there'll be less competition because there'll be less buyers. Manchester United can really make an impact in this. United could have got Rabiot for free in the summer, and even if he flopped, it would not have been a great loss. What does this say about United scouting, says Abanaf? I think Manchester United wanted Rabiot in the summer, but he turned us down. He went somewhere else. Charles Crane says, when people talk about Pogba swap to Juve, why isn't it always Ramsey and Rabiot? Bentancur and Pjanic are the only Juventus midfielders I would look at. Also, Rice is crap. Pjanic, apparently, if you watch the show this morning, doesn't want to come to United. Bentancur, Juventus don't want to sell him to us. So that's what's happening with him there. But I quite like the fact that I quite like the fact that we're looking at him, that we're looking to do this. But Pogba's going to be a recurring theme. I know people get bored of it, but Pogba's going to be a recurring theme. Of course he is. He's a massively important player. He doesn't really want to be at United. Can we convince him to stay? Can we convince him to sign a new contract? Or will he force a move? But we cannot let Pogba go to... We're not a charity. We can't go... Pogba, I know you want to go to Juventus, we'll just take any old shit that Juventus want to give us. It's like having a Ferrari on your drive and swapping it with your neighbour who gives you a couple of Vauxhall Astras, a lawnmower, and his wife who's not that good looking, or his boyfriend, or whatever. You can accumulatively get the value of a Ferrari, but you won't get a Ferrari. If you know what I mean, if the Ferrari's there, you can get a load of things that come to the value of the Ferrari, none of which individually are that good. If we're getting rid of Pogba, we want a Ferrari in return. So I'm sorry, if you want Pogba, you give us some... And this is what, when Fabrizio Romano was talking about swap deals, this is my point. Swap deals only work if it's for the right thing. Like, if Barcelona and Inter are going to swap Lautaro Martinez for something, it's got to be for something good. If we're going to swap Pogba, why should we swap Pogba for Douglas Costa or Pjanic or Rabiot or Aaron Ramsey, players that they don't want? Swap it. Give us something that's good that you don't want to lose. Give us a Ferrari. Give us Bentancur. Give us Ronaldo. Give us De Ligt. Give us something you don't want to lose. Because that's not how you barter. You don't go, we want the best thing you've got and we're going to give you a load of shit for it. No, you lose something to get something. If you want him that bad, you give us something you've got. They don't. Thing is, they can be telling Pogba, we want you. Do they want him enough to give us Bentancur? No, we like Bentancur. Well, you don't like Pogba enough then, do you? Forget about it. Goodbye. This is a buyer's market. If you're in a position to buy, then you have the power and can dictate the terms of any transaction. This isn't just in football, it's properties, business and commodities, says Wazam Ashraf. Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. There will be landlords there who've got a lot of money in the bank, and over the next few months, they're going to pick up bargains from people who have to sell because they've lost their livelihoods, because they haven't got a lot of money in the bank. And people will take advantage of it. And as harsh as it is, that's the world we live in. And Manchester United can do exactly the same in the same market. Lingard for Sancho, swap because Dortmund are good at cultivating young talent, says Alhar. Sean Turner, Pogba will stay. I think the signings of Bruno and possibly Sancho will be enough for him to see we are going in the right direction. I don't mind Pogba staying, Sean, as long as he signs a new contract. I don't want him to stay and just stay for another year and have a whole year of Riola gobbing off about where he's going. Risharaj Kamath says, why would Bellingham choose not to come to the biggest club in England? Will Danny Rose give up wages if he refuses to play? Doctors have got no choice. I mean, look, Danny Rose has got every right to say what he wants to say. That's all I'm going to say. I don't agree with it, but he's got every right to feel the way he wants to feel. And I don't think we should be, dismissing his opinion. It's his opinion. He was passionate about it. I can't knock people who do that, even if I disagree with them on it. Recap. Manchester United are focused on doing the business they wanted to do before lockdown. What's that business? I still think it's Sancho. I hope it's Bellingham. And maybe it is still Grealish. And maybe there's a striker there as well. But this is good news. Manchester United, regardless, and that's what the article was saying, regardless of the financial situation that's going on, and it's a severe financial situation, Manchester United still want to and are committed to making the deals that they were going to do anyway, because they know those deals need to be done. If you don't do those deals, you're not doing them because of the financial crisis. You're not doing them because you don't believe you need them anymore. United know they need those deals to make their team on the pitch better. When they come back, the team's going to still have the holes that it had before that they were trying to fill. They're going to do everything they can to try and fill that. And that, to me, is a big, big positive because some clubs, financially, cannot do it. You know, Arsenal are being linked to Thomas Partey. I don't see how they're going to do that when they've got players taking pay cuts. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, I'll be back in the morning with a normal show. Make sure you smash a like on the video if you're watching live. Sorry it's a shortened show tonight, but that could have gone wrong. Sorry it's a shortened show. That could have really gone wrong. But I have got this poker tournament that I have to do at 8 o'clock. If you're interested in getting involved on it, get onto Twitter very quickly. My Twitter, @MarkGoldbridge. There may still be time for you to register and get involved. But have a good evening. Smash a like. Get your comments in. I'll see you in the morning. And thanks everyone who's tuned in live. And sorry to those who did miss it. But we'll be back at 8 o'clock as usual tomorrow. And we'll be back in the morning with the normal Man United show. And if you want anything extra, get on the Flex and Rant show because they do every Tuesday at 1 o'clock and you might not have seen it. So give it a watch if you're hungry a little bit more. Go to the homepage, go and check out the Flex and Rant show. Really good chat today. Some of which they're talking about the same sort of topics as me, but it's not me talking, so it's a different way. Thanks for watching. And they do talk about Saul Niguez on there, Sunil. So check out the Flex and Rant show. It's on the homepage. I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for watching.